Chapter 14. Dakshinamurti. Dis, O teacher. You said that mind is the guru and that mind is the great Veda Vriksha, tree of life, and it is under that tree that the Lord Dakshinamurti takes his seat. I pray that this also may be explained to me. That the mind is the guru, and that the mind is the spreading tree of life, will be revealed from the example of the smoke and the pot as mentioned in the previous chapter. So long as the mouth of the pot was closed, the smoke was inside it. We could not see the smoke because it was shut up. The smoke does not lose its quality when it was inside the pot. When the lid is opened, it is the same smoke that spreads out. You are able to see the smoke only when it is spread out. The smoke is the same whether it was inside or whether it was outside, and in the same manner our mind was the same both when it was inside us and also when it got out. This mind, under control, is the real guru, master. The samsara vriksha is nothing but the growth of the world that we see around us. The cause of this growth is our own mind. This mind, situated at the root of this samsara vriksha, spreads down to the south. That is why the mind is called Dakshinamurti or the Lord of South. This mind is the real guru. It was stated by you, Swamiji, that the real guru was inside our heart, the Brahmadya, middle of the brow. Now you say it is at the root of the samsara vriksha. Pray help me out of this confusion. What have you understood by south? If we look at east, our right-hand side is the south. Which is east. The place from where the sun rises. This is entirely wrong. Before you came out of your mother's womb, had you any notion of the north, east, south and west? No. When did you begin to have an idea about these four quarters or directions? After I was born and when I began to have the power of understanding. If you were not born, will you yourself have a form? No. If you don't have a form, will you have a conception of time, like the beginning and end, or of space, like north, south, east and west? No. Not only that, when you are sleeping, do you have the above-mentioned conceptions of time and space? No. When did you begin to have it? Only when I began to feel the I. So, who is it that had these two conceptions? The I. So, it is you who are having this notion of space, but can you tell me your real north, east, south and west? No. Have you studied in a school? Yes. Have you seen a world map? Yes. Which is the north, east, south and west in that map? The top is the north and the bottom is the south. So which is your top portion? My head. Yes. The top portion is the north and that is our head, and it is inside this head in the Brahmadya, middle of the brow, that our mind, which is our guru, stays looking south. That is the reason why it is said that our mind is Dakshinamurti or the Lord of the South. I have now understood what is north and south. Pray tell me which is east and west. East means purvam, which again means in front of. To say in front of is not some substance necessary. Without something, how can we say in front of? If there is no object, we can neither say in front of nor at the back of. But what is it that we always see? We see this world. So, if there is no world, can there be anything? No. Therefore, it is the front of the world that we call east. That is the place of origination. Then, from where did this world originate? It is originated from us. From where does the world originate from us? From our siras, head. If it is originated from the siras, can we see the world always? No. Why? At what time can we not see it? When we sleep. Then is there any conception of the world? No. T. Then what happens? Then the world remains inside still. T. What is the reason? Because our life is controlled within us at that time. T. When did the world originate? When I awoke. T. When you got up from the sleep, from where did it come? From the Jiva. T. How did it come out of the Jiva? When the Jiva moves in and out after I woke up. T. Through which does the Jiva move at that time? In and out through the nostrils. T. When we sleep, in which direction does it go? Through the two cavities just above the palate. T. Then, when you got up, from which place did Jiva come out? From Sushumna, the point at the base of the nose. T. When that Jiva, which moves in and out, goes out completely, what will happen? We become dead. T. Is there any world for that dead body? No. T. Why? Because there is no Jiva in it. T. Then, in what length does that Jiva move out? From the base of the nose to the tip of it. T. Then, from where does the Jiva go out? From the tip of the nose. T. If there is no Jiva at the tip of the nose, is there any world? No. T. Then what does it become? Dead body. T. Why? Because there is no Jiva. T. Does the world exist at all times when there is Jiva? No. T. Why? Because the Jiva is still in its origin, the Sushumna. T. Does the world exist then? No. T. No being can measure this world. But, I will do it now. It is only the length of a thumb. But, if the Jiva goes above the base of the nose, is there any conception of this world? No. T. So, the length of this world is identical to the length of the thumb. There is no world beyond the length of the nose. This world is originated from Prakriti. When this Prakriti, the life energy, passes up and down through the passage of the nose, we have the world. The place of origin of that world is the east. In that origin, when prana, the sun, remains undisturbed, the sunrise takes place. That is why it is said that the sun rises in the east. When the sun sets, it becomes dark. It is dark because there is no light. That time, when no light emanates from where it ought to have emanated, is called sunset. That is why it is said that the sun sets in the west. How is it? We see the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. T. Have you seen the rising of the sun? From where does it rise? From the akasa. T. Have you seen the sun rising from this akasa? I have only seen the sun in this so-called akasa, skies. But I have not actually seen it rising from it. T. So, you have not seen the sun rising. You have heard only of the sunrise. After sunrise, what do we get? We get day. T. What is the proof that we get the day? Because we get light. T. What is the time now? Daytime. T. Now have you got light? Yes. T. So, if you have got light, can you tell me without moving from this place all the articles placed in the other room? It is impossible to tell that without going there. T. You have got light. Why are you not able to see that? Because there is the obstruction of the walls. T. How can this light be obstructed by another thing? You haven't got the real light. You only think you have got it. It is like this. In the darkness, which you call night, you light a lamp. That lamp will shed its light around according to its power. If the light is a very big one, say for example covering about 10 square miles, then the light cast around will proportionately cover a bigger area around, and all objects falling within this area will be seen. But if we hide this light by placing something close to it, then we see only darkness beyond the back of the object with which we hide the light. The reason for this darkness is this. The original state was darkness. In the same darkness a light was lit. When this light was hidden, the original darkness occurred. In the same manner there is no light now. It is only darkness. Even as the lamp shining in the darkness, there is a light shining in us. When an obstruction is caused, we see only darkness, just as we see the darkness when we obstruct the lamplight. It is true that the sun is really rising in the akasa. I have told you what that akasa is in chapter 5. The sun is our prana. If we keep this prana in our akasa, we get the day. The real day is the awakening of the mind, which is the Paramatma, and making it shine inside us. With this awakening, the day dawns and the sun rises and gives its light. The darkness is dispelled. If we get this real sunrise, we can see everything around us, clear off any obstruction whatsoever. There is no time sense at this stage. Now we are in darkness, ignorance. It is in this darkness that we seem to think that we are having the light. The cause of this darkness is the division of the real self into the three qualities, viz., sattva, rajas and tamas. If you merge all these three different qualities into one single stream and concentrate your mind and gaze at the vital point, which is the source of all energy, you can see prakasam, light. Then only the sun is said to have risen in the akasa, sky, and becomes day. Now the sun has not risen. After sunrise there won't be darkness. Swamiji. Kindly look into the skies and see the sun. What have you to say about this phenomenon? That is only a reflection of the light within you. The test of it is this. You close your eyes and look at it. You do not see it. No. I don't see it. Why don't you see it when you close your eyes? Was it not shining? It was not shining as I shut my eyes. So, when do you get the light and the sunshine? When I open my eyes. So, where from do you get the light and the sunshine? From my own self. You listen. The Chaitanya, energy, within us has the brightness of millions and millions of the suns similar to this one. But all this brightness gets diminished and disintegrated when the various thoughts, feelings, and volition arise in us from out of this Chaitanya. The external phenomenon which we call the sun, is only a reflection of our own energy, seen by us, through this disintegration. This reflected phenomenon is so very bright and dazzling that we are not able to look at it. It is something like this. We look into a mirror. We see without strain all parts of our body reflected therein. Now, hold the mirror against the sun, and look into it. You will not be able to look into it on account of the dazzling brilliancy of the reflected rays of the so-called Sunday. You have to close your eyes. In the same manner, the so-called outer sun, which is so bright and dazzling, is only the reflection of our own prana that has projected out into the void as a hankara ego, in a bright globe-like formation as described in chapter 10. When we succeed in integrating the flow of our energy into one single stream inward without the same being allowed to scatter and dissipate, we get the real day and sunshine. If this is true, then how do we get the rotation of the night and day? I have already told you that we are in the darkness. When we shine ourselves in the darkness, it is day, and when this shining abates in us, it is night. It is just like this. Light a lamp and keep it at the door. So long as the door remains open, the light shines out and reaches as far as it could, but when the door is closed, it is all darkness. In the same manner, our prana, which is the sun within us, shines out into the void through the door of ahamkara. This is our so-called day. When once we shut this door of ahamkara and keep back the light, it is the so-called night for us. This is the real truth about the so-called day and night. These so-called day and night are not the real day and night. We are in a state of sleep, and the so-called day and night are only mere incidental dreams in this sleeping state.